So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Chevrolet Engineering College. I'm dealing the subject PED for third year preparatory students of R19 batch JNTU Kakinada. So this is introduction for the second unit, controller, converter, fed DC motor drives. So actually, I have completed the introduction somewhat to a brief extent. So before going to the basis, again we will go for the introduction. So these control rectifiers are used to get variable DC voltage from an AC source. If you have an AC source as an input of fixed voltage, we are getting variable DC voltage. So we can control the variable DC voltage by using these rectifiers. So these control rectifiers are fed from DC drives, which are also called as static Ward-Leno drives. These are also called as static Ward-Leno drives. Okay, so there are two types here: fully controlled rectifiers and half controlled rectifiers. Okay, if you see the diagrams, now I am explaining about full control rectifier in figure A. So this is having some thyristors, 4 thyristors. In full control rectifier, you are having 4 thyristors, and in half control rectifier, you are having only 2 thyristors, and remaining 2 thyristors are replaced by diodes. So as we know that these thyristors are capable of conducting current in only one direction, all these rectifiers are capable of providing current only in one direction. So if there is a possibility of current in either direction, it will be in first and fourth quadrant. That is called as fully controlled. So the rectifiers of figure A here provide the control of DC voltage in both the directions, in either direction. So these allow motor control in quadrants 1 and 4 here. If you observe the VAIA plane here, it shows a VAIA plane which the quadrants are operated. So in this, rectifiers provide the control of DC voltage in both the directions. So these allow the motor control in quadrants 1 and 4. This is first quadrant, second, third, and fourth. Okay, so 1 and 4. These controllers are called as fully controlled rectifiers, right? So these are called as half control rectifiers. These rectifiers are half controlled because they allow DC voltage in only one direction, and the motor operation is in quadrant 1 only. Okay, here this is only in quadrant 1, VAIA plane. So for low power applications, suppose if you take up to 10 kilowatts, single phase rectifier drives are used. And for automatically high power applications, 3 phase rectifier drives are used there. Okay, so say here, now I will explain briefly about single phase fully controlled rectifier. Control of DC separately excited motor. We are taking here a type of motor is separately excited motor. So in fully controlled rectifier, we will see about the series motor and self-excited motor. Sorry, separately excited motor. Okay. So now first we will see about DC separately excited motor fully. And in half also you will be dealing with 2 types of motors. First one is DC separately excited motor and second one is DC series motor. Okay, so if you take this drive circuit, so if you observe the drive circuit, you are having 4 types of thyristors: T1, T2, T3 and T4. Okay, at the positive cycle T1 and T3 will be conducting, and at the negative cycle T2 and T4 will be conducting, right? Okay, so every time 2 thyristors will be on and every time 2 thyristors will be off. This is the motor representation with resistance, inductance and EMF generated by the motor. Okay, we are getting supply IA from the supply to the motor, and this is the armature voltage VA. This is the explanation of the drive circuit. Now you have to see here, there exist two continuous conduction waveforms. First one is discontinuous and second one is continuous. Second one is continuous. Okay, so when the armature current IA is not continuous, it is termed as discontinuous conduction waveform. Okay, so if you see the figure B here, this is discontinuous conduction waveform. Here in this IA, armature current is 0 at some times and it will be reaching peak, and again 0 and peak. So at this alpha value and beta value, if you observe the waveform of this at the time periods alpha and beta, if you see here alpha and beta times, IA is 0 there. So here no current will be there and sometimes peak current will be existing. Okay, so this condition 0 at some times and peak value at some times. So this terms as a discontinuous conduction. So depending upon the current IA, we are distinguishing between the conduction waveforms. So when at sometimes IA is equal to 0, so the current is not continuous there. This is called as discontinuous conduction waveforms. Okay, and if you observe the C figure here, see figure, IA is not equal to 0 at anywhere, but the value of IA as a sine wave, it decreases to some extent at some time, but this is not equal to 0. Always current will be present. So this condition is called as continuous conduction waveforms. Okay, so if you take in a cycle of source voltage, I am giving the source voltage in this drive circuit. This is the drive circuit. I am giving the source voltage to the thyristors. So if you consider in a cycle, in one cycle, that means a sine wave, if it completes from 0, positive, negative, and again it reaches 0, it is termed as one cycle. So in a cycle of source voltage, thyristors T1 and T3 are given gate pulses from angles alpha to pi, right? From alpha to pi here. So for first cycle, we are giving gate pulses to thyristors T1 and T3. So if you give T1 combination, automatically T3 is connected negative. Okay, so we are giving gate pulses, gate signals from alpha to pi for the thyristors T1 and T3. Okay, and in the next cycle, from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, if you see here, pi plus alpha, this is pi plus alpha to 2 pi, we are giving gate signals to T2 and T4. At that time, T1 and T3 will be off. When we are giving gate signals for T1 and T3, T2 and T4 will be off. Okay, so when the armature current flows here continuously, it is called as conduction. If the armature current does not flow continuously, it is called as discontinuous. Okay, so this drive what we are taking is mainly works in discontinuous conduction only. Okay, so the drive under consideration what we are taking is mainly working at discontinuous conduction. So this discontinuous conduction, it has several modes of operations, and in those several modes of operations, the simple method of analysis is obtained only when dominant mode of discontinuous conduction is taken into account. If you take it into account the simple method of analysis, we have to take dominant mode of discontinuous conduction, not the continuous conduction. Mainly you have to take discontinuous conduction. Okay, so we can see the discontinuous conduction in figure B and C. And see, first one, I am explaining the figure B here, discontinuous conduction. Okay, so in this discontinuous conduction mode, current starts flowing with the turn on of thyristors T1 and T3. Okay, when we on the thyristors, when we give the gate pulses to T1 and T3, then discontinuous mode current will be starting from 0. So at omega t is equal to omega t time period of alpha, we are giving gate pulses to T1 and T3. So from alpha, T1 and T3 starts conduction, and armature current will also be started. Okay, so this motor is connected to source and terminal voltage of Vs. What is the source voltage? Vs. Okay, so the current which is flowing will be against both E and source voltage. After the time period, omega t is equal to pi, and it starts to fall from that value and it decreases to 0 at B. Okay, so this current will be starts flowing against both E and source voltage. After which one? After omega t is equal to pi, this current will be against E and source voltage. So it falls to 0 and it reaches to 0 at beta value. Okay, and due to the absence of current here, T1 and T3 will be off because we are not giving any current. So what happens? The firing signals will be stopped for T1 and T3. So what happens? They will be conduction off. So now the motor voltage when T1 is equal to T3 is equal to off, motor terminal voltage is what? The motor terminal voltage will be equal to induced voltage E. Okay, and at this time we are giving firing angles to T2 and T4. So T2 and T4 are fired at pi plus alpha. Okay, alpha plus pi at the time period of alpha plus pi. What happens? T2 and T4 are fired. So next cycle of motor terminal voltage VA starts here. VA starts here from this point. So at the time of T1 and T3 conduction, this VA will be starting from alpha. See, like this. And at the peak value, this will be against to IA. So this will be dropping and equals to 0. At that time, current will be prolonging to beta. So at the beta again, this will start negative peak, and negative peak will be increasing and going to the positive value. So again here T1 and T2 conducts, T2 and T4 conducts. So VA exists here until 2 pi. Okay, so this is discontinuous conduction mode. Next, coming to the continuous conduction waveforms. In continuous conduction mode, a positive current flows through the motor. Okay, a positive current will be flowing through the motor. See here, a positive, this is positive current. This positive current will be flowing through the motor. So here before alpha period, what is on means T2 and T4 will get on just before alpha time period. So omega t is equal to alpha. Just before here this in this period T2 and T4 will get on. So when we apply gate pulses, this turns on forward bias thyristors T1 and T3 at alpha. So at this place, when you give firing angles, what happens? T1 and T3 gets on. So when T1 and T3 gets on, it reverse biases T2 and T4. So when T2 and T4 are reverse bias, they will be turned off. So a cycle of VA will be completed when T2 and T4 are again turned on at pi plus alpha. This is pi plus alpha. Again, when T2 and T4 gets on, T1 and T3 gets off. So this is a continuous process. As the armature current IA, this IA is not perfect DC. So the motor torque always fluctuates. So this motor torque will be fluctuating at 100 Hz, frequency of 100 Hz. So as the motor torque fluctuates at frequency of 100 Hz, motor inertia, it is able to filter out fluctuations. So when it is able to filter out the fluctuations, it gives nearly a constant speed and ripple-less E. Okay, when the motor inertia is able to filter out fluctuations, it gives nearly constant speed and ripples-less E also. So the E will not be getting ripples. So this cycle, this is a theoretical explanation, and we can give a practical explanation to this by the discontinuous conduction mode. See here, this is the discontinuous conduction mode. So if you take in a cycle of motor terminal voltage VA, this drive will be operating in two intervals. Okay, first interval is alpha to beta and second interval is beta to pi plus alpha. Okay, so at beta to pi plus alpha, it is called as zero current interval. At that time, current is zero. Okay, if you take the first thing, duty interval, it is called as duty interval alpha to beta. See here, if you see the waveform, alpha to beta is called as duty interval, and from beta to pi plus alpha, it is zero current interval. Okay, at that time VA will be equal to VS. Okay, the source voltage is equal to VA, and here the source voltage is equal to motor MFE. Okay, and this is the drive operation. The complete drive operation can be described by the following equation. What is the equation? VA is equal to, if you apply KVL, VA is equal to IARA plus LA into DIA by dt plus E. Nothing but it is a sine wave, so I can equal to sine wave, Vm sine omega t. So this is the first duty interval, alpha to beta. At the time VA is equal to E and IA is equal, and this is the first interval. And coming to the second interval, from beta to pi plus alpha, second interval, zero interval current. So at the time IA is equal to 0 and VA is VS before. So I can write VS is equal to VE or VA is equal to VE. So VA is equal to VE and IA is equal to 0 at beta to pi plus alpha. This is the third equation. Okay, so if you observe the second equation here, it is having two components. First one is due to Vm by Z, that is nothing but Vm by Z due to the source Vm by Z sine omega t minus phi. That is due to the current. Vm by Z means current I sine omega t minus phi. And second one due to the back EMF minus E by RA. Okay, so this is due to the current. These are the current terms, IA terms, and second term is due to the back EMF, E. Okay, so each of these components has in turn a transient component. Each term has a again transient component. So let these be represented by single exponential form. The single exponential form of the above can be written as K1 e power minus t by tau A. So if you substitute this exponential form in the above equation, we will get, see here, IA omega t is equal to Vm by Z sine omega t minus phi minus E by RA plus K1. I am substituting the exponential form here, plus K1 e power minus t by tau A, where Z is equal to impedance plus resistance, RA square plus omega LA squaring. In terms of inductance also, I can replace the reactance by omega L. X is equal to omega L. Okay, so from here, tan inverse, if you write the angle here, from this you can write the power factor triangle. From this triangle I can write phi is equal to tan inverse omega LA by RA. So this is fourth equation, fifth equation, and sixth equation. Okay, and TA is given by here, time period TA is given by equation 5 here. Okay, how we get that? Constant K1 can be evaluated substituting the equation 4 to initial condition. If you make the initial condition in this equal 4, what is the initial condition? IA at the respect of alpha is equal to 0. Okay, and substituting, after getting that, substituting the value of this in fourth equation, it is IA omega t is equal to Vm by Z. If you do the, if you give IA tends to 0 here, IA at the rate of infinity tends to 0. So we can expand this sine omega t minus phi as sine omega t minus phi minus sine alpha minus 5, that means I am putting omega t in the place of omega t. I am putting alpha here. So alpha minus 5, and we are getting exponential form omega t minus alpha. So tan will be cot 5 minus e, this part, e by ra. Here I can write 1 minus e power omega t minus alpha cot 5 again. So this is, if you substitute the value of ia omega t in place of omega t 5, and if you expand this one, you will get this one, this expression 7th one. So since we know that ia at beta, current at beta is equal to 0, right? So from the graph we can say that at beta current is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm substituting that, I'm rearranging the equation. Vm by z sine of beta minus 5 omega t is equal to here beta, and making it equal to 0. Okay, so ia of beta in place of omega t, I'm substituting beta and making it equal to 0. Just in place of omega t, substitute beta. Okay, beta minus 5 minus sine of alpha minus beta. So here 0 becomes 0, and e by ra, this one, this expression, e by ra plus, I am multiplying into the expression term. So Vm, sorry, minus e by ra. Here see that here alpha minus beta. So I am substituting only at the time of first expression v by z. I am multiplying the v by z into the terms and taking out e by ra common. Okay, and e by ra common, if you multiply this, we can, at the place of e by ra, I can write here vm by z here. Okay, so ia of beta becomes here vm by z sine of alpha minus beta, right? But at the e by ra, we can write here omega t minus alpha. If you take common minus beta minus alpha, this becomes, see here I am taking common e power minus beta minus alpha. Here also e power minus beta minus alpha is there. So if I take out common these both, you will get e by ra minus vm by z sine alpha minus 5. Okay, if you got the 8th equation, here e power minus omega t minus alpha cot 5 is taken out common. So if you replace omega t with beta here, see e power minus beta minus alpha, I am taking out this common. So before multiplying this e by ra vm by z sine, this one will also be taken out common. So I can write from these two, if I take this second part as common, see this one and this one is taken out common. So before taking out common, what we get, e by ra minus, this is the minus value here, minus vm by z sine alpha minus 5. Okay, so this becomes 8th equation, and beta can be evaluated by iterative. That means iterative means if you substitute the solution of equation 8 by this one, this is okay, this is okay, that is called as iterative solution. So if you substitute the beta, value like this, and if you make it, you have to see that it is equal to 0. Okay, iterative method means possibility of having beta value, this value, like that. If you substitute, you will get you have to get this whole expression as 0. So at that time beta value will be correct. So taking that beta value as correct one, this is called as iterative solution. So as the voltage drop across the armature inductance due to DC component of voltage is 0, we can write VA is equal to E plus IARA. Okay, so this is the voltage drop across the armature inductance. So if you take these two equations, equation 8 and 9, see here. In before equation, if you take VA and IA, these are the DC components of armature voltage and current respectively. Okay, so from figure 5.626b, see here. This one 5.26, this is 5.26, this is B. From this figure, I am writing the expression VA is equal to 1 by pi. Limits from alpha to beta, we are getting a sine wave, Vm sin omega t d omega t. And from beta to pi plus alpha, we are getting the voltage E. So E dt. E of d omega t. That is, if you substitute the alpha and beta integrations here, if you integrate alpha to beta and beta to pi plus alpha, you are getting the value as 1 by pi is common here. 1 by pi, 1 by pi. And the numerator value is alpha minus sine of omega t, means cos alpha minus cos beta. And if you substitute beta and pi plus alpha, so see here minus value you will get if you take here beta minus pi plus alpha minus of. So we will get totally minus of minus plus. So pi plus alpha minus beta into E. Okay, this is 10th equation. Okay, so actually here armature current IA will be consisting of both DC component IA and the harmonics. So when flux is constant, only DC component produces steady torque. Okay, so in this what we are achieving means armature current is consisting of both DC component and harmonics, right? We are telling AC armature current consists of both DC component IA and harmonics. Okay, so when the flux is constant, DC component is produced. Okay, this DC component produces constant torque, but whereas harmonics, these harmonics will be existing in AC only. So alternating torque will be produced. Okay, so this harmonics produces alternating torque components, and the average value of these alternating torques is equal to 0. So the motor equation, torque equation can be given by 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th equations. So if you take all the equations and if you rearrange, we can get torque speed is equal to omega m is equal to Vm cos alpha minus cos beta by K beta minus alpha minus pi Ra by K square beta minus alpha into torque. Okay, so we are having the boundaries between discontinuous and continuous when beta is equal to pi plus alpha. At beta, we are having the boundaries of continuous and discontinuous one. So if you substitute the boundaries, beta is equal to pi plus alpha in equation 8 here, the critical value of speed omega mc will be obtaining. So this omega mc is the critical value of speed below which the excitation will be failed. So here the speed omega mc, this separates the continuous and discontinuous conduction for a given alpha. So substituting beta is equal to pi plus alpha in equation 1, you will get, see, you will get omega mc is equal to RAVM by ZK sine of alpha minus beta plus into 1 plus e power minus pi cot phi by e power minus 5 cot phi minus 1. So this is the final equation at the discontinuous conduction. Okay, now continuous conduction. So this can be obtained from figure C, the continuous conduction mode. Okay, so if you see in figure C, from figure C, we can write the expression. I am showing you figure C once again. So this is figure C. Okay, so this is, we are taking the value of continuous conduction for this IA or VA. So from this continuous conduction mode, VA can be written as VA is equal to, what are the two intervals? 1 by pi alpha to pi plus alpha. Okay, so from here one cycle exists like this. like this. So this is one cycle. So we are right integrating this at one cycle. So from alpha to pi plus alpha, Vm, this is a sinusoidal wave. So Vm sin omega t d omega t. So that becomes what if you integrate that? See here, if you integrate that alpha to pi plus alpha, Vm sin omega t d omega t. If you integrate that 2 Vm by pi cos alpha, you are getting. Okay, so before 30 in first unit, I show you the equations 30, right? From how you are getting this 30 equation means from these two above equations, you are getting the speed here. So once again, recalling those equations, T is equal to tau is equal to K into Ia is equal to K into omega m. From this, omega m is equal to V by K minus Ra by K square into T. This is the known equation. So from this equation 13, omega m can be written as 2 Vm by pi k cos alpha minus Ra by K square into T. So here I am substituting just 2 Vm. I am making equal these two equations, nothing but. So omega m is equal to Vm by pi k. Vm by 2 Vm by pi k cos alpha, in numerator it is also there having cos alpha minus Ra, combining these two equations, Ra by K square into tau. Okay, so from this equation we can calculate the speed torque curves. So this is the speed omega m and this is torque. So if you give the relation between omega m and t, we will get a curve. These are called as speed torque curves. So these are the speed torque curves. Okay, so here no load operation is taken. When Ia is equal to 0, we can obtain it as no load operation. So when the both thyristors in the continuous conduction mode fails to excite, we will get current is equal to 0, right? If at all any one of the thyristors are, when any one of the pair of thyristors are on, we cannot get Ia is equal to 0. If both the thyristor pairs are off only, we will get Ia is equal to 0. So when this happens, this will happen when motor EMF is greater than the source voltage. Okay, so see here, next one, in continuous conduction mode only, when alpha is less than pi by 2, so the period before pi by 2, less than pi by 2, E should be greater or equal to Vm. Okay, and when alpha is greater than pi by 2, less than pi by 2, E will be greater, and greater than pi by 2, E will be greater than or equal to this value, Vm sin omega t. Okay, so from this we can say that at no load speed, that is considered as, what is the no load speed? The ideal no load operation is obtained when Ia is equal to 0. So at that time we can calculate the speeds, that is no load speed. That's why we are putting O here, omega m. For normal speed, load speeds omega m, no load speeds omega m naught, that is equal to V by K from the interval 0 to pi by 2. After 0 to pi by 2, pi by 2 to pi, there will be existing speed Vm sine wave, sine alpha by K. Okay, so here the values of maximum average terminal value is, from this we can say 2 Vm by pi. Okay, that is chosen as equal to the rated motor voltage. So ideal actually no load speed of the motor